Man, look, see, I'm gonna keep it straight funky. That shit straight back though. You don't gotta believe it. You can hear whatever. Oh, these people saw this. I don't give a fuck what y'all heard. I ain't out here seeing talking on my ass like these do, bro. Folks them killed T-Roy and Vaughn killed that. No matter what the fuck else. And look, I might be saying it in a harsh way, but I'm no way in no form of.
Nigga said T-Roy and Vaughn did that shit? Nah, that's wild. That's wild, bruh.
You know I've been trapping for real. I'm turning that 1 into 2 and that's off in the trap. These niggas not hitters for real, cause how you get robbed and you told you a strap. My mother, a nigga try back me, I'm blowing them up. I'm putting them shots in his hand. Nigga.
YouTube, man, we back with another video, man, and today, man, we'll be reacting to the deadly gang war between Lil Durk and Chief Keef. Man, I ain't even gonna hold y'all, bro. I didn't even know these niggas was beef. I thought these niggas was cool. Like, aren't they cool, bro? Or am I tripping? I thought they was cool, bro, but apparently they not, bro. Apparently they had beef back in Chicago. Or they probably still got beef now, for all I know, bro. But nah, though, let's tap into this video, man, see what they got to say in this joint, man. I told you I want to start reacting to more police cam videos, motherfucking rap documentaries, and shit like that, bro, so we doing it. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's tap into this video. Let's go. Alright, man, before we get into the video, let's get into the sponsor of the day, W Energy. W Energy is an energy drink brand that helps you boost your day by giving you energy and helps you focus. Now, they gave me the Dragon Lemonade flavor right here, man. It's pretty good. I like it. It contains no sugar, no artificial dyes or anything like that, man. It's 100% natural, man. So go ahead and tap into W Energy, man. If you want to get some, it's gonna be. I'm gonna put the link in my bio, man. Get 10% off and use code BP3.
In February 2026, many rap fans were shocked when Chief Keef would suddenly release a song with NBA Youngboy, the bitter rival of Keef's old friend Lil Durk. Many people viewed Keef's move as disloyal, not just to Durk, but to the whole Chicago drill scene as a whole, given just how bitter and bloody the feud between Youngboy and Lil Durk had gotten. Things got deadly in their beef after the 2020 death of Lil Durk's OTF affiliate, King Von, which followed a confrontation involving Youngboy's artist Quando Rondo, all stemming from an online beef between Youngboy and Von. This culminated in the 2024 arrest of Lil Durk alongside several of his OTF affiliates in connection with an alleged murder-for-hire plot that ultimately resulted in the revenge killing of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab in 2022. For fans who were upset, this felt like Chief Keef was finally revealing his true colors, abandoning his old loyalties and aligning himself with whatever wave was the hottest now that Lil Durk was no longer the hottest rapper out. But many younger fans in particular may not realize just how dark the history is between Chief Keef and his childhood friends Lil Durk and King Von. Their history involves betrayals, home between Chief Keef and his childhood friends Lil Durk and King Von. Their history involves betrayals, home invasions, and even the alleged murder of one of Chief Keef's own family members, with this incident likely being the very reason that Chief Keef permanently distanced himself from his old neighborhood O Block and King Von specifically, with even more cryptic tweets over the years that saw King Von seemingly hinting that he was behind a murder of somebody very close to Chief Keef.
We called Northfield Police this morning and asked them for more information about a shooting involving Keith Cozart, also known as the rapper Chief Keef. Earlier today, someone called our newsroom and said Chief Keef shot him.
Crime scene tape still surrounds the palatial home where the shooting took place, and a police forensic truck sits out front. But no sign of Chief Keef since WGN shot this exclusive video of the rapper being questioned inside the Northfield police station last night.
It's your boy DJ Academic saying, goddamn, that ain't take too long. Restart the first 48 clock, it looks like there's another casualty in Chicago, and this time it's Chief Keef's cousin, known as Blood Money, who was killed in West Englewood, Chicago.
So today, we're going to break down the full history, from the birth of Chicago drill, its golden years, and the present day when it really kind of lies in ruins. And this story will reveal just how a conflict between a few old friends eventually evolved into a full-on gang war between two sets that were once the closest of allies. With all of this leading up to a 2025 double murder of two O Block veterans. A whole lot of bloodshed that might just trace back to a petty feud between Chief Keef and Lil Durk. This is the story of Front Street and Glow Gang versus OTF and O Block.
Front Street and Glow Gang, that's Chief Keef shit.
If you get hit by a truck, who you calling? If you get bit by a dog, who you calling? Get hit by a Trogan or Morgan, remember for a 30 bin handle, big Robbie $3 $1. The Peach Green.
life. We've removed any graphic content to comply with YouTube's guidelines. We aim to provide informative, factual journalism on a tragic event in the public interest that does not dismiss its seriousness. All clips are used under the doctrine of fair use for news reporting and analysis. Some points made in this video are opinions and theories. I am not responsible for third-party information. If you want to watch my videos uncut and extended, go to patreon.com/traplawross, where you can get those for just $2. Also, you can now watch my new drops on Spotify, so go search me there. Here's the video.
We're gonna drop some on Spotify, okay? Motion.
Growing up on Chicago's South Side, Chief Keef was a popular kid with ties to numerous different gang sets in the area, including Front Street, where he had the strongest family bond, as many of his cousins would belong to that set and his grandmother lived in the area, with Chief Keef spending long stretches of his childhood living with her personally.
Every day, he come, came, cook and eat right. He out come. I don't know who gonna get famous for this. I don't know who gonna get famous for this. But I know one thing, when they fake it, they leave.
However, Chief Keef also had a very strong bond with O-Block, the infamous gang hailing from the Parkway Gardens housing projects where his mother lived, and a gang that Keef would become most associated with after his rap career took off, as he would frequently shout out O-Block the most, even dedicating full songs to the set. But beyond those two, there were also several other sets in the area that Chief Keef would frequently reference in his music and maintain close personal connections.
I don't know much about this
600, which is located right next to Front Street, No Limit, or the NLMB, which is all the way on the east side, and of course Lamron from the Inglewood neighborhood, which is famously Lil Durk's gang. But while Keef was close with Lamron, when it comes to Keef and Durk's personal relationship, it seems like they were never really the closest of friends. Something that becomes obvious from how few times they would actually make cameos in each other's music videos during the come-up, let alone making songs together. Chief Keef would actually be more often seen with one of Durk's closest friends from his Lamron set, the rapper Lil Reese, who would of course famously be also featured in Chief Keef's breakthrough song, I Don't Like. Still, it's safe to say that Durk and Keef were certainly on good terms, with both also showing love to each other's crew that would ultimately become their respective brands and record labels, with Keef repping OTF or Only the Family, an alliance and music collective started by Lil Durk's Lamron set, while Durk would often show love to Chief Keef's GBE or the Glory Boys Entertainment crew, which at the time included numerous rappers like the already mentioned Lil Reese from Lamron, SD from a set known as Blackgate, Capo from NLMB, Ball Out from Lamron, Trey Savage from a set known as MTV, Gino Marley from Front Street, as well as several cousins of Keef's who all repped Front Street, including Fredo Santana, Tado, Just Glow, and Blood Money. OTF and GBE were so close at this point that for them, these two crews basically meant the same thing, as Durk and Lil Reese would rap in their 2012 song OTF. But then, during the summer of 2013, right as the hype around the Chicago drill movement had reached its peak, there would be a mysterious falling out between Keef and Durk, the real reason for this still being uncertain after all of these years. But what we do know is that back on the 5th of June 2013, just as Lil Durk's career was starting to gain real traction with his hit song Dis Ain't What You Want, releasing about a month earlier, Durk would run into trouble with the law when he was arrested and charged with unlawful use of a weapon, after police would apparently catch him with a stolen Glock. At the time, Chicago's local media would describe Durk as a rapper associated with Chief Keef, a label that showed just how much bigger Keef's name was back then, with Chief Keef basically being the most popular drill artist by a landslide at that time. But not long after the arrest, media reports revealed that Durk's lawyer had obtained an affidavit from a friend claiming ownership of the gun, a detail that would ultimately help Durk in his case. At this time, Durk, who was still being referred to as Chief Keef crew rapper by the local NBC Chicago 5 News, was ultimately given a bail of $100,000, which Durk needed to pay 10% of, or $10,000 to get out. As the story goes, although Durk had signed a deal with Def Jam over 1 year before this in April 2012, the money from that deal hadn't come through yet, something Durk's lawyer would claim during a bail hearing. So Durk would apparently go to Chief Keef to ask for the money, but instead of giving it to Durk, Keef would apparently allegedly buy a four-wheeler and later boast about it on social media just to rub it in. Then on the 13th of June, while Durk was still locked up in jail, I ain't gonna G, bro. If I ask a nigga with some bread, bro, and then he'd be like, nah, and then I see them post them and flex a fucking four-wheeler the next day, I'm be pissed, nigga. I'm be pissed. Yeah. Chief Keef would suddenly decide to make an odd tweet, informing his fans that he was seemingly not affiliated with OTF anymore, but that he was now repping OTG, or Only the Glow, a reference to his Glory Boys Entertainment group, and low-key a little bit of a sneak diss towards Durk's OTF. The following day, after Chief Keef's questionable tweet, it was reported that Durk would finally post his bail on June the 19th, but it would still end up taking about a month before he was actually released. Durk would announce being back home on Twitter with a peculiar line, telling how he was back while asking if you missed him or if you didn't care. This line actually being lifted from Chief Keef's First Day Out song that he had dropped after being released from juvie himself back in March 2013. In that context, it definitely makes the tweet.
He was released from juvie in 2013. Sounds about right, but how old is Chief Keef, bro?
Tweet from Durk looked like a subtle diss towards Keef. But following Lil Durk's release, Chief Keef would also keep throwing shade at Lil Durk's OTF crew, eventually causing OTF members to respond with some very harsh words. As Durk's OTF affiliate, Chief Wook, would begin posting explicit disses towards Keef on Twitter, accusing him of not being a stand-up friend and failing to help someone who needed bail money, despite having just signed a $6 million record deal. However, when Lil Durk was later asked in an interview why no one bailed him out, including French Montana, whose Coke Boys imprint Durk was repping at the time, Durk would respond that money wasn't the issue and that he could have bailed himself out, but because he was facing a parole violation, he wasn't eligible for release until the end of July.
Wants to know, how come French didn't bail you out?
One, I could bail myself out.
Right.
And for two, he could bail me out too. But at the same time, I had a violation of parole, so I couldn't bond out till the day I got out.
But that may well have just been Durk trying to save face, as he would soon join in the disrespect towards Chief Keef's crew, with Durk retweeting his friends' posts and making his own stance clear, saying that he was still in the hood rather than living in the wealthy suburbs outside of Chicago like Keef was, as well as directly stating how it was now FGBE dissing Keef's crew. Chief Keef would respond by not mentioning Durk or OTF directly, instead posting more subliminal disses, saying certain people were making him laugh, while seemingly telling Durk that he still had love for him, but then later implying that Durk was messing with his ops, likely referring to Durk making music with the Migos, who Keef was beefing with heavily at this time. Keef would also seemingly imply that the only reason Durk had gotten signed to Def Jam was because of him, a tweet that he would apparently later delete, while Durk's far more
you wanna get that weak ass influence for Almighty? Ayo, chill. Nah, that's wild. Yo, why you dissing niggas like that, bro?
Jam was because of him, a tweet that he would apparently later delete, while Durk's far more spooky reply actually still remains online, where he would suggest that Chief Keef would have been killed if it wasn't for 300, another alliance of gangs started by Little Durk's Lamron set. Keef would eventually end the exchange by declaring that on O.D. Perry's grave, the fallen O-Block member that gang is named after, he was done engaging in any further online beef. Keef's tweet would reveal that at this point, he was still very much tied in with the other sets that he was close with, particularly O-Block. In fact, on June the 10th, 3 days before Keef announced that he was seemingly not repping OTF anymore, his friend from O-Block, an older member called Boss Top, would release his first music video for a song titled 30 Choppers, which ironically featured none other than Lil Durk. Keef can be seen walking through O-Block, something that had already become rare at this point, as Chicago police had reportedly banned him from returning to his old neighborhood due to his fame and the chaos that his presence would attract. And while Boss Top had just done a song with Durk, even after Keef would have a falling out with Durk, he would keep shouting out Boss Top on his Twitter, while announcing that he was repping nothing else other than O-Block and how he has a squad full of killers, before throwing more shade at Durk, saying how he used to be a brick, a derogatory term for a GD, or gangster disciple, as Durk's father was a notorious GD who had allegedly worked directly under its founder Larry Hoover. But Durk's OTF crew generally identifies BD or Black Disciple like the rest of the O-Block gang. But anyway, from here, Durk would fire back with disses of his own, even mocking Keef for allegedly breaking down in court in January 2013 when he was sentenced to 60 days in juvenile detention. Meanwhile, Chief Keef would continue to promote
the judge told me I had 9 years, Brody. I am pouring out tears on Brody. on Brody.
Dropping a trailer for their upcoming collaboration, a song and music video titled Gunja. By August, it appeared that the tension between Chief Keef and Lil Durk had temporarily cooled off, at least according to Durk, who would downplay the situation during an interview with Sway's Universe, saying it had been nothing more than just some words.
A lot of people have been tweeting me to ask you about your relationship with Chief Keef because of things that have been going back and forth. What is the status of that right now?
It was just a little bit of words. It ain't nothing major though.
It ain't nothing major?
No, ain't nothing major.
It ain't nothing that's gonna grow or?
Nah.
Have y'all communicated since then? Have y'all?
Yeah, we had a little few words to be on some, man. We cooling right now, so.
Yeah.
So I respected that. We respect each other. We got love for each other, so. You know how that Twitter is. You know Twitter gonna take everything the wrong way.
Ain't Twitter a trip?
But unfortunately,
ain't Twitter a trip? This nigga just said if it wasn't for him, Chief Keef would be dead, bro. Nah, listen, yo, nah. Talk about some, just a little bit of words, bro. We cool. Ain't Twitter a trip? Nah, Sway. Nah, Sway. Nah, Sway.
How that Twitter is. You know Twitter gonna take everything the wrong way.
Ain't Twitter a trip?
But unfortunately, Chief Keef would keep tweeting subliminal jabs, like trolling Durk with a four-wheeler purchase, as well as announcing that he was still affiliated with several Black Disciple sets and alliances besides O-Block, including Blackgate, 300 and 600, but notably leaving OTF out of his list. Durk, on the other hand, would seemingly respond to Keef by throwing his own subliminals, as he would tweet how he was all about bike life, not four-wheelers. But fortunately, the feud between Keef and Durk would remain confined to the internet, and it may have even benefited both of their careers, particularly Lil Durk's, who at the time was still a far less established artist than Chief Chief Keef, but things were about to take a darker turn for Keef, as the following month a tragedy occurred that allegedly led to a fallout between him and his own set of O-Block. On the 2nd of September 2013, one of the most respected members of O-Block, and you could even say one of their unofficial leaders, a member called J Money or J Munna, real name Jerome Wood, was fatally shot in the
8 dead, 25 wounded, shooting over Labor Day weekend. Damn. See, bro, that's the wild shit about Chicago, bro. Like, niggas just be shooting and don't care who around, bro. 8 dead, 25 wounded. Like, come on, bro. And it's on Labor Day. You know, guys be going crazy on Labor Day, bro.
Set. The loss of J Money was a huge blow to O-Block, and they would begin to call their set GBMG, or Glow Boys Munna Gang, in his honor. J Money had also been close with Chief Keef personally, and could often be seen repping his Glory Boys merch. However, after J Money's death, it wasn't Chief Keef who was paying homage, but it was actually Lil Durk, who would make numerous posts about J Money, whereas Chief Keef would seemingly be strangely quiet about the matter, perhaps too busy touring the country with his friends from the Glory Boys crew. Apparently, Chief Keef wouldn't even show up at J Money's funeral, which was packed with a large crowd, including Lil Durk himself, who was photographed there wearing an RIP J Money shirt. This being despite
he didn't even pull up the Brody's funeral? That's wild.
Indications that Chief Keef might have been back in Chicago at the time of the funeral. So this was a bad look, but I think you got to give Chief Keef some grace here. After all, at this point he was already a national and international superstar, and him showing up to an already packed funeral in the middle of the hood would have likely caused major chaos, not to mention a security concern, especially given how many funerals are already commonly shot up in Chicago those days.
I can't even get too mad at him about that one, bro. I can't even go hold you. I can't even get too mad at him about that one, because like, if you a big rapper, and like Chicago at that time was wilding, like, you know, everybody was shooting no matter what's going on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be like a motherfucking Tuesday, random ass Tuesday, chill as fuck, niggas still sparking out that bit. So like, I can understand why Chief Keef probably didn't go to the funeral, you know, to see a big rapper, you know what I'm saying? If he went out there, something crazy could have happened, bro. He could have got robbed, he could have got shot, you know, shit like that. So I can understand it, bro, but it's still, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm 50-50 with it, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's still his man's, you know what I'm saying? He should have been there, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Nonetheless, some believe that this actually marked the beginning of the end for Chief.
A lot of people don't know the conflict between Chief Keef and O-Block started off with J Money funeral. The whole GBE camp was in Chicago and they did not attend. A lot of guys felt some type of way and things just started going south from there. Okay, that makes sense then.
Keef's relationship with O-Block, as members in his old circle begun to feel he wasn't paying enough attention to them after his rise to fame, with Boss Top making a wild tweet atting Chief Keef and saying that he knows he saw his text and that he's going to get his girl pregnant as revenge. Following this, O-Block would now become much more tied in with Lil Durk and OTF, as Durk remained much more locked in with his old street circles despite his rising profile in the rap game. This shift in friendships and alliances would come to a head in 2014 when another alleged dispute over bail money surfaced, this time having deadly consequences. Heading into 2014, Chief Keef would officially change his crew and label name to Glow Gang, and the former GBE or Glory Boys Entertainment would stop existing. This would also cause some changes in the crew's composition, as Chief Keef's cousin Fredo Santana would go on to start his own record label called Savage Squad Records, joined by guys like Gino Marley, while Keef would also eventually have a falling out with his friend SD. But despite the change of name and the lineup of the crew, it was obvious that the beef between Durk's OTF and Chief Keef's Glow Gang was still simmering, and in January of 2014, Glow Gang member Ball Out reignited tensions in a major way by posting a diss aimed at Lil Durk and OTF on Facebook, calling the whole crew.
Damn.
Meanwhile, the friendship between Glow Gang and O-Block,
these tweets going crazy. I ain't surface,
but deep down, cracks begun to show. One example is a story told by Tay Capone from the 600 set, who would often go to Chief Keef's mansion around this time, joined by members from other sets like O-Block. During one of these trips, he reportedly witnessed tension forming between O-Block member Boss Top and Chief Keef's cousin Blood Money, as according to Tay, Blood Money had lent Boss Top a watch, which Boss Top allegedly tried to keep for himself.
Blood Money had let Top see a watch, folks. This one, we all dirty. This was Sosa them first getting on. We first going up north to folks' crib. Man, Blood Money to let folks wear his watch on BD. Like, let folks wear a watch to do whatever. I don't know, folks, on BD. On Steve. Folks, get on them. I know, no, we pull up the folks' crib. We in a Vino. Folks used to be picking us up in these like big black van on King David. We in a Vino, folks.
Bro, Chicago niggas love to say on King David, bro. Chicago niggas love to say on King David, bro.
Picking us up in these like big black van on King David. We in a Vino, folks. We pull up to we in the driveway, all the guys getting out. I'm like the last before the last, top the last one. I'm finna get out, folks. So Blood Money already out. He didn't ride with us. He pulling up in his own traffic, folks. On Steve Gray. He pull up, he see Top in a van. Top don't even get a chance to get out. I didn't even get a chance to get out yet. Folks walk clean up to the van. Peek in a van door. He slapped the door like, hey, folk, where my watch at? I swear to God, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. Top seen blood pull up, folk. He had the watch on. He tell me, like, folk, he take the watch off, put it in his pocket on my son's life. He take it off, put it in his pocket.
No, he wild for that.
He is ass for me. He take the watch off, put it in his pocket on my son's life. I could drop dead right now. He put it in his pocket. Right before Blood walk up to the Vino on Steed. Blood walk right up to the Vino. What my watch? Woo. Folks, mercy, man. I left that. I'm just like, I didn't never say nothing. I'm listening to the dialogue, folks, and I'm just so hurt and shocked in my head. Like, my head getting fucked up, folks, because I just seen you take this off and slide it in your pocket, and you just said, oh, he finna walk up talking about this watch. And on folk grade, like, you real loud, like, just mercy, you ain't had this man watch, and you had it on folk grade. Like, I'm damn, holy shit. Real.
According to Tay, this rift would eventually be solved and the two would go back to being cool, but coming into March, things would suddenly go all the way left, as Chief Keef's childhood friends from O Block would suddenly join in on dissing him on social media. On March the 25th, Boss Top would make several ominous tweets saying how someone was no longer part of the gang, as well as telling them to pick a side, and announcing that O Block, the real O Block as he would specify, would get into it with anyone. This tweet interestingly getting an approval from both Lil Durk and a young King Von, who had been a close friend of Chief Keef's since a very young age. And Keef would still post Von numerous times on his social media, even after blowing up as a rapper in 2012. Although it seemed that as time passed, Keef had less and less time for many of his old friends from O Block, including Von, who would often keep tweeting at Keef without a response. According to later rumors, the real breaking point between O Block and Keef came when an O Block member known as Trey Phife was locked up, and once again, Keef's money was allegedly expected to cover the bail. However, as 600 member Tay Capone would later explain, Keef allegedly kept promising to send the money, but never followed through, and eventually the O Block members grew so frustrated that they decided to teach him a lesson.
They came to him about bonding out Phife. They came to him about bonding out one of the guys, and Sosa was like, you know, he not spinning them, but he just telling them like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? We gon', you know, Trey Phife was a nigga from O Block. He was fighting a charge. He had bond. I think his bond was like 10K, 7,500 or something they was trying to get from So. And Sosa had been, I guess, to them, spending them about
700K.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever bond money or whatever they was gonna do for Phife, they wanted from Sosa. They felt like Sosa was spending them. So they felt like they gave him enough time to act on what the situation or whatever, and then once they felt like he was just gonna keep spending them or lying to him, they felt like they had enough time where they felt like they had enough aggression built up from the situation to just act, you know.
Sometime during the late night and early morning following Boss Top's ominous tweets, there would be a shooting at Chief Keef's manager's house, which would leave one person injured.
So Chief Keef got mixed up in a shooting near Chicago, and his Instagram account does not help him at all.
Imagine
Team Z be
being able to build
snitching, bro.
anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Hey, this is Gary. So, Chief Keef got caught up in a shooting near his home in Chicago. Now, we're told by Chief's people that he was not the shooter, he definitely was not the victim, he wasn't involved. They're just saying that he was present at the time, but the police out there are issuing a press release in relation to Chief being there during the shooting. We do know that one victim has been taken to the hospital right now. There has been no arrest made or anything, but Chief Keef is not doing the best job social media-wise for his innocence in anything, because 2 days before the shooting, this is on Monday, he Instagrams all these photos of himself holding up guns. It looks like he's got some sort of an Uzi, his buddy's holding an AK-47, they got a little stash of guns and money. The caption read, another situation already. So it looks like he was like, you know, getting ready for war, even though as of now he's not a suspect or listed in anything.
Local WGN News reported that Keef had been present during the incident but was not the shooter. The outlet also aired exclusive footage from inside the police station that showed Chief Keef being questioned by officers, while a reporter would specify that according to Keef's lawyer, Keef had been in the car that drove the shooting victim to a hospital, implying that it had been one of his friends.
Crime scene tape still surrounds the palatial home where the shooting took place, and a police forensic truck sits out front. But no sign of Chief Keef since WGN shot this exclusive video of the rapper being questioned inside the Northfield police station last night. At one point, it even appeared as though he was being frisked by an officer.
It was inevitable, we felt, because of the nature of things going on.
Andy and Mary Lindblad live next door to the home that was being rented by Chief Keef's manager. The Lindblads say they heard a lot of commotion coming from the home as late as 10 or 11 o'clock the night before.
It's a lot of door slamming and, the lights moving around the parking area and that.
Northville police say someone was shot in the home in the 800 block of North Hap Road and was driven to Skokie Hospital. Keef's lawyer tells the Chicago Tribune he was a passenger in that vehicle, but she says she doesn't know the circumstances surrounding the shooting.
Later on, police reports posted on Reddit would give more clarity to what happened, with one memo describing how there'd been an internal conflict within the Black Disciples, namely the O-Block set. This memo also included pictures of 3 persons of interest: Tyree Davis, aka Boss Top, DeMarcus Sargent, and Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, who would years later be one of the people convicted for the murder of GD rapper FBG Duck. Other incident reports would give even more information, stating that in the late night of the 25th of March, an unknown number of offenders entered the house with guns drawn and took at least a cell phone, a gold chain, and a car before fleeing the scene. These reports would also mention how there was a victim who was actively talking to the police and giving them information, while everyone else was seemingly not interested in cooperating at all. This person likely being Chief Keef's then assistant, called Twin City CEO, real name Brandon Zera, who Keef would actually attack on Twitter afterwards, calling him soft, with Keef's friend Lil Reese agreeing. Keef would also immediately deny any rumors that he had gotten shot personally during the incident, but meanwhile, during the night of the robbery, King Von remained very active on Twitter, firing off a series of posts that in hindsight may well have been a coded confession. He would tweet that every day they front and then act like they didn't front, asking how they expect him to deal with them, and another mysterious tweet saying simply, "Where were you?" As he kept posting, it would become increasingly obvious what he was talking about, with demon and gunshot emojis posted soon after, as Von would state how people don't want beef with his friends because they're savages who have real bodies on their guns, and swearing that on O, as well as saying how he had a feeling that Trey 5 was now coming home, followed by a bunch of demon emojis, before also shockingly adding that he had been GBEK or GBE Killer, implying that he wanted to or had been trying to kill people from the Glory Boys for a while. Boss Top would also add how people weren't really your friends, seemingly referring to Keef's unwillingness to help with Trey 5's bail money, and the following day he would continue the dissing, calling out fake rappers pretending to be real and claiming they're not really about that, and emphasizing how in his friendship circle everyone knew their role and nobody was trying to act bigger than the others. Chief Keef on the other hand would reply how people forget the times when you said yes but will always remember when you said no, and that all he had done was help people, but in return all he got was hate, showing that deep down Keef was clearly hurt that he had been betrayed by his childhood friends. But Keef may not have realized just how far some of his childhood friends were willing to go to hurt him, because the very next month one of his family members would be killed. And if the rumors are true, this murder would eventually be linked to some of O-Block's most feared shooters and 2 of Chief Keef's former friends, King Von and T. Roy. In 2014, a person affiliated with Chief Keef's Glow Gang crew would begin to get some major push for his career, this being Chief Keef's cousin, known as Blood Money or Big Glow, real name Mario Hess. In March 2014, Blood Money would get an important boost for his career as he featured on Keef's comeback single F Rehab, which he would release after literally completing a court-ordered rehab in California. After this, Blood Money reportedly signed a major deal in Los Angeles, likely as an artist under Chief Keef's Glow Gang imprint, which operated under Interscope, and following the signing, he returned to Chicago to spend some well-earned time with his family. But then, on the 9th of April 2014, at around 9:30 p.m, Blood Money was outside with his cousin on the 5600 block of South Elizabeth Street on the west side of Chicago, when someone would open fire on them, injuring the cousin and killing Blood Money. The killing was covered by DJ Academics in his War in Chirac series, presented in the provocative style that made him infamous in Chicago.
His manager said his signing bonus was $50,000, which he spent on his family, bills, and a car. And his manager claimed that he could see this coming. He said, "I spoke to him 2 days ago and I could sense something wasn't right." Whenever you get money in Chicago, start looking. Others don't have money and are broke, and Blood Money was flashing 10 grand and other are looking to stick him up. Well, duh, if you are in Chicago of all places and you're flashing money around a broke bunch of yes, they will try to rob you. At this point, I'm wondering who's writing the script for Chicago's version of The Wire. I mean, it's getting all too real. I mean, who's Omar that's taking all these damn bodies? Who's Marlo and who is Avon? You look like everybody's either shooters or muscles. Nobody moving weight. Everybody's either a Weebay or Chris or a Snoop or a Slim Charles. Everybody's just doing goon.
Later on, there would be all kinds of theories about exactly who was behind this murder. One of the popular suspects was a set known as MOB, known for rappers like FBG Duck's good friend Ruger. This theory seemed to be supported by the fact that after Blood Money's death, Chief Keef would record a song titled Can't Wait, where he would rep the Front Street set heavily before dissing MOB and their dead member named Junebug. This is noteworthy because while Keef would popularize the trend in drill of dissing dead ops, often by mentioning things like Smoking Tuka, the dead 15-year-old from the STL EBT set, Chief Keef would actually quite rarely diss dead people by name other than Tuka, indicating that there was clearly something about MOB at this point in time that had really set him off. However, another theory that circulated would claim that Blood Money had actually been backdoored by a longtime friend, supposedly over an argument about money, a version of events that came up in comments his family made to local news outlets about jealousy being behind the murder.
This morning, police are still looking for the suspect who opened fire on Mario Hess, also known in the hip-hop community as Blood Money. His family says he just received a pretty large sum of money, and they believe that made him a target. Around 9:30 last night, relatives say Mario Hess was standing outside of his aunt's home.
That's crazy, bro. Right when he got some money, right when he started paying bills for his family, right when he got him a car, bro, is when he died, bro. Shit crazy, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, niggas hate to see another nigga win, bro, especially where in your hometown game, once you get money like that, you gotta leave. But granted, you know, he probably couldn't leave right away, bro. Like, it happened right when he got the money, bro. He should have just stayed out the way for real, I feel like, bro. Man, time, like, you should know. He should have never told nobody he signed the deal. But then, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, bro. Like, that shit just gets out easily, bro. So you can't even hide that shit for real, bro. But that shit is crazy to me, bro, for real.
In the 5600 block of South Elizabeth, when a man approached and opened fire, hitting Hess at least 10 times in the stomach. Another man, a 28-year-old family member, was shot in the chest. No word on his condition this morning. Hess was driven by his family to Stroger Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
I was telling them just a couple of days ago, like, man, you gotta watch the people that you bring in, because I started seeing like new faces and stuff like that, you know. And when people think you got a little money, then you become a target.
Well, according to his manager, he just signed a record deal by Interscope Records about 2 weeks ago, and he was excited about releasing an album. He collaborated with his cousin, rapper Chief Keef, on some project and was about to drive to a recording studio to work on some music before he was shot.
However, early on, there were also some signs that Blood Money's death could be connected to Chief Keef's beef with his old friends from O-Block. Because while Boss Top would seemingly provide an indirect tribute to Blood Money following his passing, there would also interestingly be a party at O-Block the very next night following the murder, which guys like King Von would promote on Twitter, with one O-Block affiliate interestingly specifying how this was about the real O-Block, much like Boss Top had mentioned before when beefing with Chief Keef. King Von would also make some other highly suspect tweets in the following days, like one simply saying how the truth gonna hurt you, and another saying how people wouldn't even believe the things that he does, so he's not gonna tell them. He would also post his old mugshot, together with a caption saying how they should have never let him out because they had freed a menace, as well as referencing Durk's OTF crew, saying how it was only the family in his eyes and people can't divide them, which certainly seemed like another sneak diss. During this period, Boss Top would also publicly praise Von as a savage and turn up, adding the hashtag Stretch Gang, which was another alias for O-Block, although it also doubled as street slang for stretching your ops or killing them. Chief Keef, on the other hand, would pay tribute to his cousin by starting a new name for his crew, the Blood Gang, which would eventually be adopted by members of Front Street, the hood that Blood Money was from, who would also begin to call their set the Blood Gang too. Keef would also interestingly tweet, "We are Front Street," before adding, "and Real 300, this being an obvious diss towards Lil Durk and his Lamron set that had been the inventors of the 300 nickname. He would also throw shade at his old friends from O-Block by tweeting how he'd been trying to show his friends how to live and become rich, but his friends were just too jealous and in their feelings to learn from him. Meanwhile, King Von would keep making some suspicious tweets, which seemed to be subliminal messages straight to Chief Keef, or Sosa as he's also known by. The most ominous tweet including Blood Money's lyrics from his song F Rehab with Keef, a move that many interpreted as a subliminal diss aimed at Chief Keef and Blood Money, particularly as Von would openly recognize that he was now beefing with Glow Gang, replying laughing emojis to people claiming that GBE would hurt him. And this wouldn't be the only time that Von appeared to post subliminal shots, because only a week later he would tweet how fame changes people, but real ones stay the same, adding that he could never switch on his guys. He then added RIP Big Glow, aka Blood Money, a tribute that in this context stood out as less likely to be sincere and yet another veiled diss. But if that wasn't questionable enough, a few days later Von would shout out Boss Top, the person who had arguably started the beef between Chief Keef and O-Block, before literally saying in the hashtag how he was killing people for him. All these tweets were clearly suspicious and seemed to point point towards O-Block and King Von personally having something to do with Blood Money's murder. But the real bombshell would come years later, when the former O-Block member J Hood would claim during an interview with Fuchsia's TV that King Von and T-Roy were without a doubt the people responsible for killing Blood Money. He would also interestingly describe them as followers, implying that the hit may have been carried out on someone else's order, a suggestion that many interpreted as pointing towards Boss Top.
What about Blood Money, bro? Did you know Blood Money?
I used to see Big Blood around when I used to slide to the front.
Yeah. I mean, with his situation, with him being killed and shit, people said it was KI. Why do you think people was hating on Blood Money?
Man, look, see, I'm gonna keep it straight funky. That shit was straight back though. You don't gotta believe it. You can hear whatever. Oh, these people saw this. I don't give a fuck what y'all heard. I ain't out here seeing talking on my ass like these dudes, bro. Folks them killed T-Roy and Von killed that. No matter what the fuck else. And look, I might be saying it in a harsh way, but I'm no way in no form of.
Nigga said T-Roy and Von did that shit? Nah, that's wild. That's wild, bruh. It's crazy.
Dude, bro, folks them killed T-Roy and Von killed that. No matter what the fuck else. And look, I might be saying it in a harsh way, but I'm no way in no form of fashion trying to be disrespectful to Blood. Rest in peace to Big Gang. Was backdooring. That's why I'm speaking out on this. I don't know nothing. The First Street know what's up. They know that it's been some going on for years
but
now.
T-Roy and Chief Keef was cool. Why would T-Roy kill Chief Keef's cousin though?
We can't even get to all the main logistics of it, but we just gonna say his followers. T-Roy and Von was who they was, but that don't mean that them listen to people. Like if the followers, that's all this ever be. They was followers. T-Roy and Von was followers. Who they follow? I don't know. Y'all answer that yourself.
J Hood is definitely someone who is at least in a position to know information like this, as he used to be with King Von and T-Roy all the time back when this murder happened.
To high IQ men earning less than their friends who barely passed high school. You watch guys you grew up with buying houses.
But in online spaces like Reddit, this claim has split people in the middle, with some convinced that they were indeed behind the hit, while others are absolutely convinced that this is nothing more than just a conspiracy theory, pointing out how Blood Money's own family have claimed that his killer was already dead back in 2015. But even if the real killer may forever remain unknown, the feud between Chief Keef, O-Block, and Lil Durk's OTF continued to escalate online even after Chief Keef would make the smartest decision of his life and move away from Chicago.
As he should.
One of the key figures in the beef remained King Von, who continued his conflicted messages by blending what seemed to be moments of admiration for Chief Keef along with outright disses. For example, he would often post lyrics to Chief Keef's songs, making it seem like he was an actual fan of the music, while at the same time posting explicit disses, like pointing out that Boss Top had taken Keef's chain, while a member named OJ from Lil Durk's Lamron set had allegedly taken a chain from Keef's Glow Gang associate Capo, and saying that now Von was also going to take a chain from someone associated with Keef. And yet only a few hours later, Von was back on Twitter, this time saying that even though things weren't right, he still wasn't going to speak badly about Keef, a comment that seemed to reference their long-standing childhood friendship. But with Von, it was impossible to know how much of what he said was meant sincerely and what was just trolling. A few days later, on the 10th of June, news media would report how Keef had been evicted from his Highland Park mansion in the northern suburbs of Chicago over unpaid rent. This brought an end to his time in Chicago, as he would ultimately decide to leave the city behind for good, relocating to Los Angeles, where TMZ would actually catch him to ask him about the recent eviction. Something that Keef would give a prophetic answer to, saying that one day he was going to behave like a grown-up and stop being bad.
They say you owe like $11,000 in rent.
I don't know what they talking about.
your landlord.
I don't know if I owe or not.
What's that?
Me. I don't know.
you don't keep track like.
I don't give a neither.
Oh, you don't care.
Yeah,
like so why'd they evict you, bro? Like why?
They say they don't want me around. They don't want me in the neighborhood, man. I'm too bad. I guess I'm a bad little young boy. I gotta grow.
You're a bad influence. Like did you have a fight?
One day it's gonna be okay. One day I'm gonna be a grown man.
You are a grown man.
No I'm a grown man, but one day I'm gonna be growner than this, and I ain't gonna be bad no more. I ain't gonna be a bad little.
Meanwhile, members of Lil Durk's Lamron set would send a message to Keef that if he ever came back to Chicago, he would get robbed again.
We catch Sosa and ball out, we rob y'all. Y'all better not come back. You can't tell them. Y'all talking about they ain't got no. Rob them. I want they change.
But while Chief Keef was now out of Chicago and harm's way, he would keep engaging in beef with his old friends from O-Block, as well as with Lil Durk, who would let his stance be known in his June 2014 song 0 to 300, where Durk rapped how he had heard a rapper close to him had gotten their chain stolen and that they're trying to pay his friend Boss Top to get it back, this being an obvious diss towards Keef. Boss Top himself, on the other hand, would keep taunting Keef on social media by tweeting how he was now called Chief Top and that he had taken the Chief name from Keef. Keef would respond respond only minutes later, calling Boss Top his ex-adopted son and saying that he needed to stop talking to his pops disrespectfully, implying that he was his dad, before firing off several more tweets where he would essentially call Boss Top broke, and Chief would then decide to go all in, listing all of the items that his old friends had allegedly stolen from him. This list being incredibly long, including everything from Chief Keef's stores, clothes, to designer drip and jewelry. These tweets caused DJ Academics to hilariously popularize a new nickname for Boss Top, the Diaper Bandit.
If a is stealing deodorant and detergent, he goddamn well needs it. I mean, listen, once is on the prowl for Similac, diapers, hygiene products, you can't be on a song claiming since you were young and you've been a no, it doesn't work like that. No, timeout. No, that's not how it works here. That person you just heard speak was Boss Top. Now, some people call him the Diaper Bandit, and some even call him Baroque Top.
Now, the label stuck, and even years later, fans would still be arguing over whether Boss Top had really stolen diapers from Keef, with some even pulling up the police reports in an attempt to prove that no diapers were actually ever taken. Keef would also respond on Wax in a song titled 0 to 250, a play on Durk's 0 to 300 song, where he would diss Durk by questioning the name Only the Family, or OTF, by noting how Durk and O-Block had crossed him, even though he had been part of the crew and family, while also adding that he still had OTF tatted on him, but he was now just Glow Gang. Chief Keef would also diss Boss Top once again, bringing up the fact that he had allegedly stolen his daughter's clothes, and the back and forth would continue in July, when Keef would once again go in on Boss Top, this time calling him by his government name, while claiming that the home invasion had happened when Chief Keef had been in court, even posting pictures on Instagram of the stuff that Boss Top had allegedly stolen from him. Boss Top would later respond to this, claiming that not only had Keef been present when the robbery had taken place, but also several other big names in drill were allegedly there too, like Lil Reese, Herb aka G Herbo, as well as other Glow Gang members like Tato and Capo.
Gang! So I broke in your crib. Herb was there, Reese was there, Cap was there,
Damn.
Sosa was there, Tato was there. What kind of keep going?
But just when it looked like the situation was about to get out of control again, suddenly in August, Lil Durk would announce that the beef between his OTF crew and Chief Keef's GBE or Glow Gang had actually been settled for good. This unexpected truce was quickly followed by DJ Academics' sarcastic commentary.
It's your boy DJ Academics, and now we can finally start up the campfire. Let's roast some marshmallows, let's hold hands and have a whole dread twisting fest. Not only that, we could probably start singing Kumbaya because the demons, the savages, and the scums, they have finally all reunited. Now, these are the names that they call themselves, so this is no me saying something bad about them. But the top factions in Chirac, the executive goons of Chirac, they have declared a truce. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about OTF, GBE, 300. They have announced that all the shall cease, and from now on, they will be having a truce, so no more sneak dissing will be occurring.
The allegedly repaired friendship would even lead Chief Keef and Lil Durk to actually go back to making music together, as Durk would also tell DJ Vlad in 2015, while emphasizing that the beef between them had never been more than just some words online.
You and Chief Keef seem to be cool now.
Yeah, we cool. We better than what we was.
Number one, it didn't seem like it was all that serious, because I remember when I ran into you, I think like at the Grammys last year, it was like they didn't want to let you in the party, and you know, because Chief Keef and them were there, and you were like, ain't nothing was gonna happen. It wasn't a big deal. Like that was how me and you were talking.
Yeah, people looking at it like, oh, if they bump heads, this was gonna happen, this was gonna happen. No, it ain't never nothing violent anyway. You know what I'm saying? All the arguments we had on Twitter and all that, they go when you mad. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really finna do nothing to each other.
So how did y'all finally like really squash it and kind of like put it all to rest?
FaceTime, I FaceTime him, FaceTime me, you know what I'm saying? We talked it out. I had a grudge, he had a grudge, you know what I'm saying? We killed it, put it in the middle of the flow. I'm saying, it's over with now.
Reba here, back to tell you about
niggas say, bro.
With over
whole time they having a whole secret war in Chicago.
You can find your dream home today.
However, while Chief Keef and Lil Durk weren't anymore beefing openly, there were signs that they weren't necessarily the best pals either. For example, in 2017, Blood Money's posthumous mixtape Drug Wars 2 was released, which also included the song Glow Gang Killers, a song that had obviously been recorded years ago, but it included some of the most open and aggressive disses towards Lil Durk that anyone from Glow Gang had ever put out, with Blood Money literally threatening to kill Durk while also threatening to kill the mother of his first child. So putting that song as part of an official project out publicly would show that the people around Glow Gang still weren't afraid to keep broadcasting the resentment that Blood Money had towards Lil Durk and OTF. OTF. But when it came to O Block, on the other hand, Chief Keef appeared unable to move past the betrayal, and he and his Glow Gang partners would keep dissing O Block members like Boss Top on social media.
Boys, man. Man, it's the kid, man. You know, man, how I'm rocking and rolling, man. You know, man, I feel like young.
Boss Top, you got dropped by Sosa. T-Boy Sosa used to be your daddy.
Hey,
How you gonna talk to your pops like that, boy?
A few years later in 2018, when King Von was released from jail after beating his infamous murder case, he would famously become heavily affiliated with Lil Durk's OTF imprint, and Von's presence would cause OTF to become closer with O Block than ever before, with Durk taking numerous rappers from the set under his wing, Boss Top being one of them. Meanwhile, after Von's own rap career took off, he would still keep mentioning Chief Keef on social media, and just like before, it was often hard to tell if he was being genuine and actually trying to repair the relationship, or if he was simply just trolling. For example, in February 2019, Von would tweet a picture of himself wiping his nose, together with O Block member Duke, who was doing the same, and O Block Louis, while tagging Chief Keef in the post. But the post was also accompanied by the song Kill Some by rapper I Am Sip, where Von has a feature verse, and it included a section where Von raps some peculiar lines about revoking someone's membership in O Block. On another occasion in March 2020, Von would tweet a video of himself showing off his new O Block chain, together with the caption O Block Bang Bang, a phrase made famous by Chief Keef, once again tagging Keef in the post. Something that once again could be taken as Von showing respect to Keef, or Von taunting Keef about essentially being thrown out of his old gang and the murder of his cousin by the same set. Around the same time, Von and Durk would release a song titled Evil Twins, where Von would include some telling lyrics, rapping how his friend thinks
that shit can go both ways,
adding, well, oh well, with many fans considering this line to be a reference to Chief Keef really thinking that Von had killed Blood Money. Von would also recap during one of his Instagram lives the reason why Boss Top and other O Block members ended up robbing Keef, essentially accusing Keef of acting big-headed towards his old friends.
Like say we call him, they gonna give it to him, right? So we say our homie booked his bond $25,000. We got $18,000. We need 75 more hundred, right? So the said he said, oh yeah, that's all I need. I just put that shoes. Right. Why you say it like that though? Now we call him again like a week later or something. Then what's up with that money, gang? Like, you know, we trying to get folks out. Vaughn. Yeah, how much I need? We need 7,500. This is a minute ago. I can't turn. So now I get that. Folks get that. What do you say? Yeah, 7,500. I just do that in the club and shit. So more see folks, take folks' chain off his neck. To go get the bomb money. Like my fan, I don't know where the clothes and all that other shit came from. Like, you know, that's just how people like what clouders try to make other people seem bogus and shit, whatever. What? But it's really over some real shit and be out like a real.
These would seem like subtle and not so subtle jabs at Keef, but on other occasions Von would post what seemed to be very genuine shout-outs to Keef, which would make it seem like the two had actually put the past behind them and were now back to being cool. Surprisingly, King Von and Chief Keef would even be seen together at a studio session sometime in late 2018 or early 2019, a legendary session where they were also accompanied by other hip-hop heavyweights like YNW Melly, Kanye West, and Timbaland. Although Keef would look somewhat awkward around Von, it's not clear if Keef even knew that Von was going to be at that session.
Oh boy. So look, bitch. Damn. Yeah.
Said so look, bitch. Yo, chill. Nah, that's wild.
So look, bitch. Yeah, all that.
But in late 2019, when a fan asked Von if he planned on doing a song with Chief Keef, Von would claim that they had already recorded an entire mixtape together. However, none of those tracks have ever surfaced, casting doubt on how real that project ever was, or if this was just yet more trolling. But while the truth of Chief Keef and King Von's relationship around this time remains unclear, one thing does stand out, because ever since Von's death in November 2020, Chief Keef has never publicly paid tribute to him, despite them seemingly being so close throughout their childhoods. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words, because back in the streets of Chicago, a new war was brewing, as tensions grew between the two sets that Keef had arguably been closest with while growing up, O Block and Front Street, and these tensions would eventually lead to an all-out war. According to online rumors, the roots of the fallout between O Block and Front Street trace all the way back to 2017, when an 11-year-old girl named Takia Holmes was tragically killed by a stray bullet. According to online theories, the shooting happened while O Block members were shooting a music video when individuals from a rival set known as Taekwon World allegedly arrived at the scene and opened fire. This caused an O Block member to allegedly return fire, and in the exchange, Takia was tragically struck. That same O Block member would later allegedly cooperate with the authorities against another member of the set, resulting in him being cast out of the set and later being fully embraced by Front Street where he had family connections. Now, whether this rumor is true is uncertain, but eventually the tensions would become obvious, as the younger generation of O Block, particularly a member named Big Woney, would attack Front Street on Facebook, claiming that they were broke and snitches. In the comment section, an argument broke out between O Block members and Blood Money's son, Lil Blood, suggesting that there were numerous reasons behind the new beef between O Block and Front Street, including disputes over women. Woney would be seen dissing Blood Money on socials and saying that they sip a lot of blood and shoot up a lot of clubs, even taking this diss into his music too, which would back up rumors that O Block had been behind the murder of Blood Money, and that the rumors about their involvement may have also contributed to the growing tensions between these two sets. From here, the beef between these two former friends would get worse, especially for the newer generation carrying the torch.
The Front Street. What the fuck is the Front Street? How y'all Front Street on the front line? I'm saying like, cause we be sipping on blood while we on the front line. It says. They stink. Yeah, the stink.
Pull up, Zayto. Now what? Pull up.
Bro, them Chicago niggas be demons, bro.
What they did to our kids is
they on Instagram live with that shit.
A global social media addiction settlement may be coming in 2026.
What you say? What you say, fool? Oh, blood, you know that.
During one recorded phone call, Front Street members would even admit that they had shot the O Block youngster Big Woney, who would fortunately end up surviving.
Yeah, I did something to Front Street.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm finna get off this fool. Woney, on J-Do, you did something else since we've been in tour with y'all.
Y'all been tour with us since I've been in jail, gang.
You lying, gang. We got in tour with you and your fat got shot. You went to jail like 2 years later.
Damn. Why you try to lie and say that ain't happen too?
Kick him out.
And there have also been some rumors that members from both camps were killed as part of the feud as early as the 2020s, but to this day, these murders aren't confirmed to be as part of the war. In the middle of this escalating beef, a song from Chief Keef would be leaked online, which many took as a diss aimed at O Block members like Boss Top and King Von. As Keef had mentioned someone who had gotten punched in the face by his cousin and choked by his cousin, these both being possible references to Boss Top and his fight with Blood Money over the stolen watch. Keef would also add how he hopes that someone dies out of town like their bro, which seemed to be an obvious reference to how King Von had lost his life in Atlanta. Interestingly, around the same time, Keef would also begin dating King Von's sister, Kayla B, who would end up arguing over these lyrics with fans who were claiming that Keef was dissing her brother, which Kayla would deny. But whether Chief Keef was dissing King Von or not, his decision to pursue Von's sister, despite likely having—
I ain't gonna mess with your childhood friend's sister though, bro. That's kind of wild, is it not, bro? I think that's low-key wild, bro.
Countless other options was viewed by many as a form of disrespect. Also in 2024, Keef would make his return to Chicago after being gone for a decade, as he would headline the final day of Lyrical Lemonade's Summer Smash Festival. There was a lot of talk leading up to the performance about whether Keef was going to return to his old stomping grounds at O Block, but while Keef was seemingly quickly in and out of the city while moving with military precision, his Glow Gang associate Tado would return to the neighborhood and even filmed a vlog on Front Street with Word from the Trenches YouTube channel, making it clear where Glow Gang's loyalties were aligned.
So where we at, man? You know the we at, man. We live at the building. Front Street, this our man. Lil Boss, GB Tato, RP the Big Boss, RP Bloods. Need to catch a slug. We outside. We everywhere they never done. We coming, man. Put the guns down, but keep them on y'all, folks. This all pushing peaceful, but for we pushing heat, yo. Play your play it. Son, gonna get put in that suitcase on folks them grade. They gonna find your bodies in other states. We gonna put your in the car, get your dropped off. Get your hold your up like this. Put your in the suitcase. You play, they gonna find your
During the vlog, Tado would even say something that might have been a direct diss towards O Block, as he would explain how the whole Glory Boys movement was all about Front Street and not about O Block, which used to be the set famously associated with Keef and his crew in the media in the early days of drill.
That's what it is, Glory Boys. You ain't even know Glory Boy. If your ain't from Indiana, I ain't no Glory Boys. I'm from them grade. Glory Boys, Indiana. I'm from them grade.
That's Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah, I'm from them grade. They know that. Huh?
That's some old blocks.
Nah. I thought it was Nah. Glory Boy, really? This us. This from the one. I'm Folsom Grade from the 6,000 to right here to the
Dipset
to the beard. Dipset. When we was shorty, we was baby Dipset. Fredo coming out, bandanas and shit. I'm a shorty, 12. Fredo 7, 15. I'm tweaking off. I'm bringing Fredo fifths of liquor and shit. We out here serving, getting money. I'm pulling up in cars. I was 13, putting up
Now, it was clear, at least implicitly, that Chief Keef and his closest friends had chosen their side in the beef between these two sets, and it was a beef that would unfortunately keep escalating. And in the following year, in 2025, it would reach boiling point, allegedly leading to one of the most brazen attacks in recent years, which would leave 2 highly respected O Block veterans dead in the street. On May the 10th, 2025, two beloved O Block members, Mana Duke and Young'un, traveled to Chicago's north side to the Edgewater neighborhood to celebrate the birthday of a fellow O Block veteran, Gleesh. The group spent the evening at the Pork Chop Barbecue restaurant and bar on the 6300 block of North Broadway, but as the night came to an end and Duke, Young'un, and the others stepped outside, they would be ambushed by at least two gunmen who had reportedly been waiting near the restaurant before suddenly jumping out of a vehicle and opening fire, letting off more than 50 shots, striking Duke, Young'un, and a third man. Tragically, both Young'un and Duke would end up succumbing to their injuries, while the third man would fortunately end up surviving. But not long after the gruesome double murder, a photo would make its way online showing a masked man holding an O Block chain that seemed to be red from blood, as if snatched off the neck of a dead Mana Duke or Young'un. Meanwhile, well-known ops of O Block like STL, EBT, Taekwon World, and Jaro City would immediately begin trolling them on social media, while O Block members both old and young would make social media posts promising revenge, with the younger members announcing to the world that they were already busy sliding on their ops. But who they were hunting is still not clear, as there would be numerous different theories about the possible suspects and the sets they came from. Yet one of the strongest theories would point to O Block's former friends from Front Street, as online sleuths would claim that the person in the picture holding the O Block chain while wearing a ski mask was a Front Street member called Buwop, who had been dissing O Block and their dead members for years at that point. O Block members were quick to respond to the image by saying that the chain wasn't even Young'un's or Duke's, but that hadn't stopped online sleuths from finding evidence allegedly connecting Front Street to these murders. Eventually, they would begin pointing their fingers towards specific Front Street affiliates, one of these being a member called Deviz, who had seemingly hinted at his involvement numerous times. The most incriminating example being a song that he would post on Instagram where he rapped how one body isn't enough for him and that he needs to catch a few, before adding how the number of his victims was supposed to be 3, but he left with only 2, which seems to be like a clear reference to the fact that the third victim in the Duke and Young'un shooting would actually end up surviving. These lyrics would also be repeated by Buwop in the comments of the post, implying that they clearly had a special meaning behind them. Interestingly, Deviz would end up deleting the post later, apparently not enjoying all the attention that it was getting from places like Reddit. In another song posted on Instagram, Deviz would also rap how O, aka O Block, knows that he lays real belt, aka kills their members, and how someone got killed right as he stepped out the door, which seems to match with how the hit actually went down, as Duke and Young'un were seemingly attacked as soon as they exited the restaurant. A girl associated with the rival gang would also add to the rumors by posting on Instagram how Front Street were leading O Block 3-0, with 2 of these bodies presumably referring to Duke and Young'un, while adding that it would be 4-0, but fat guys didn't die that easily, an apparent reference to Big Woney, who had allegedly gotten shot by Front Street in the past. In the aftermath, O Block members took to social media, angry at people trying to play both sides, and suggesting that plenty of people still had relationships with both O Block and Front Street, given how closely the two sets had been linked in the past. One member would directly diss Front Street, aka Blood Gang, before also claiming that anybody who was still clicking up with them was an enemy and that he wasn't about to do any talking. About a month after the double murder, YouTuber On a Couch TV released a hood vlog featuring members of Front Street. During the video, he asked about the ongoing tensions with O Block, but the response was noticeably awkward, with the Front Street member not wanting to speak on the situation.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know nothing about none, but a lot of us did grow up together as kids. Like when Best Shop closed now, we went to Dulles. So a lot of us grew up together as kids. Like I ain't gonna lie. Now I ain't finna say too much, but yeah, a lot of us did grow up together as kids, but I don't know nothing about nothing, no new shit. I don't know nothing about nothing. I just know we did grow up together. That's just how a lot of shit goes. That's it. That's all I know.
A few weeks later, another YouTuber, Risky Vision, would also shoot a vlog on Front Street, this time with a person who would give a detailed version of what he had heard leading up to the murders of Duke and Young'un, connecting it directly to the murder of Blood Money, also pointing out that these were just rumors and theories that he had heard.
So basically, to catch us up to what's going on right now today, on the internet somewhere, some people got into it. They got into it, O Block and Front Street, Chief Keef, whatever the case may be. Do your homework, Blood Money, RIP. You feel me? From there, a motherfucker is responsible for Blood Money. Feel some type of way. You see what I'm saying? And allegedly, O Block is responsible for doing something to Blood Money. Alright, now, I don't know who did what to nobody, but after the Mana Duke situation, rest in peace, and Young'un situation, rest in peace, the internet showed somebody taking a picture from down here, and all that shit, y'all do y'all own calculations, blam. Alright, cool. So now it's them versus O Block type. And the streets saying it's get back for Blood Money. You see what I'm saying?
But whether or not these rumors are true or not, this is all context that leads up to Chief Keef releasing the song Rooms together with NBA Youngboy, which many fans would take as Chief Keef fully turning his back not just on his old friends, but the entire city of Chicago, given how at this point Lil Durk had become the face or the voice of the entire Chicago rap scene. Meanwhile, Youngboy and his 4K Trey crew from the southern city of Baton Rouge in Louisiana, who had become known as Lil Durk and the OTF crew's main rivals, with the Chicago versus Baton Rouge gang war leading to some deadly real-life consequences, with their feud being the direct cause of the death of King Von, as well as the murder of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab that ultimately led Lil Durk being hit with murder for hire charges. And the fans weren't the only ones who were upset. Some people affiliated with OTF would also be angry at Keef linking up with Youngboy, with one young affiliate announcing how Keef was going against OTF and therefore he was done listening to him. Chief Keef's Glow Gang affiliate Main Main, on the other hand, would respond by implying how people affiliated with Durk had gone against Glow Gang, so they didn't care what people thought, also revealing that Chief Keef and Youngboy had 6 more songs coming out. He would also explicitly state in an Instagram story that Glow Gang was not messing with O-Block specifically, and telling the young OTF affiliate to go ask the older members why. Another person who would also respond to the backlash was the very person responsible for killing King Von, Lil Tim, Quando Rondo's shooter, and subsequently one of Youngboy's right-hand men, who had gone to diss anyone who had something bad to say about Chief Keef and Youngboy's collaboration in an effort to sneak diss the whole of Lil Durk's OTF crew.
Boy, man, bro, did a song with Lil Tom. Man, y'all, shut y'all pussy. They ain't gonna do shit up, man. All that crying and shit about a song. Get some money.
In response to all the hip-hop media posts claiming that O-Block members were angry at Chief Keef, the O-Block rapper Shoebox Baby would come out to claim that the real O-Block members had not said anything at all about the song. But the reality is that while Chief Keef has seemingly been cool with Lil Durk for some time now, the two even allegedly continuing to make music together behind the scenes, Chief Keef and Youngboy, have apparently also been close for years too, even before the beef started between OTF and Youngboy's 4K Trey crew. And they've even had music together before the new collaboration, like the song Fireman that made its way online back in 2019, and the 2022 Youngboy song All the Problems that was actually produced by Chief Keef together with DP Beats. But interestingly, as the debate continued about whether Keef's decision to collaborate with Youngboy had been disloyal to Durk, Keef would suddenly change his profile picture on Instagram to a picture of blood money, a sneak diss that to some was timed specifically to indicate that Chief Keef did in fact blame King Von and O-Block for his cousin's murder, while others would point out that this was actually just a coincidental gesture celebrating Blood Money's birthday, which just so happened to be around the same time as the controversy over his song with Youngboy was brewing. However, given all the history that we've just covered, I would argue that there's a pretty good chance that both are true at the same time. And at the end of it all, the dark story of Chief Keef, Blood Money, King Von, and Lil Durk is just yet another reminder that the safest place for a Chicago drill rapper is anywhere but Chicago.
Thanks. Bruh, W video, bro. Hey, bro, I learned hella new shit from this video, bro, because I never knew Chief Keef and Lil Durk had problems, bro. I thought they was cool this whole time, bro. So this low-key brought me a little bit more insight, bro. So let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me know some more videos y'all want me to react to. And let me know if y'all really like me reacting to all these little rap documentaries on these body cam videos, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. And I'm going to catch y'all next video. Let's go.